That's you.
Ms. Bridie,
Here.
Mr. Liggett,
Here.
Mrs. Lofton, Mr. McGuire,
Here.
Mr. McKinney,
Here.
Dr. Weston,
Here.
Ms. Westfall,
Here.
Mr. Williams,
Here.
Ms. White.
Here. We will go on to 1.03, 1.04, Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent reflection.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, wonderful. 1.05, reading of the PVSD mission statement. Mr. Lees, would you mind?
The mission of the Perkiomen Valley School District is to cultivate an inclusive community of learners empowered to grow intellectually, socially, and emotionally.
Thank you so much. That brings us to 1.06, approval of the agenda as presented. Is
So
there a
moved.
motion?
So moved.
Mr. Liggett motions. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Westfall seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. .07 will be our special recognition that will take place next week. And then that brings us to 1.08, comments on any topic. The board affords the public an opportunity to comment on any topic for a duration of 3 minutes, and I open the floor. All right, seeing none. We will move on to section 2, reports and presentations. Student liaisons report, Mr. Lees and Mr. Rapp.
Thank you. We'd first like to remind the community of some upcoming important events going on. First is the Middle School West musical next weekend, and secondly is the High School musical Something Rotten, March 27th through the 29th.
We'd also like to congratulate Claire Mages on winning the District 1 Swim Championship in the 200 free and the rest of the swim team who participated. And then another congratulations to Colin Sturges on his second place finish in the shot put at the Indoor Track and Field State Championships with the 9th best throw in the entire United States. And finally, congratulations to Luke Knox on winning the Southeast Regional Wrestling Tournament to become the first PV champion in 13 years. So a lot of great achievements. Wow. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you both so much. 2.02 is the President's Report. I just want to take this time to thank everyone in the community and all of the stakeholders in our buildings, including some students who took the time to complete the survey, which closed on the 27th for input with regard to what we envision for our next superintendent and for the community at Perkiomen Valley in general. So the stakeholder survey was open from the 9th to the 27th. The job is actually posted on the 9th as well. Focus group discussions took place in addition to the survey, and the post will actually stay up through this week to the 6th. Once it closes on the 6th, we will start the collation process, and we will have initial interviews starting the week of 3/23. The board has been informed by the IU as they are collating information from the surveys and the stakeholder discussions that we should see something within this week. That'll be available first to the board, and then that will be actually posted on our website for full transparency to the community, just so that they understand what the feedback received was. Does anyone have any comments or questions about that process? Okay. So that ends my report. 2.03 is Dr. Russell's superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. White. I have a few items this evening, and again, we continue to reinforce our mission statement. It was just read. And our comprehensive plan goals. As an administrative team, we're paying careful attention to these goals and working to achieve progress towards, or actually what it is we're hoping for in our schools for our students. We are focused on STEM-related subjects and creating access for all students, increasing that access and success in STEM-related courses, because we know those courses and the strength in our background knowledge in those areas can support future careers or future readiness in general. We continue to focus on the growth for our specialized groups, English learners and IEP students or special education students, and having learned about some ideas around supporting our special education students, next year I have asked Ms. Aducci and her team to present some of that information later this month or in April. We focus on Tier 1 instruction in an ongoing manner. Our principals are very tuned in to how our teachers are planning their lessons and how they're delivering instruction and how that's paying off in learning. So yes, we consider teaching. We really consider learning. And Tier 1 instruction is where that focus is for the whole group or the entire of our students in front of us in each of our classrooms. And then we also focus on cultivating inclusive school communities. We want students to be here. They don't always love the work that comes with being in school, but we want them to want to be a part of their school communities, just like we want our staff to feel the same way. These are the 4 overarching goals out of our most recent comprehensive plan, and we continue to ground our work in those goals. The shared beliefs, we think about how we prepare our students to be future ready, how we nurture safe and supportive schools, and how we build partnerships. So this evening's agenda has 5 items. The first is a visit from Mrs. Drema Benson. And Mrs. Benson was invited as part of an African American Studies course so that she could demonstrate to our students the art of quilting and how quilting over time was really a method of communication among the Underground Railroad and a powerful tool for storytelling, as well as resistance to some of what was happening to our Black Americans. And it was also a way that they could build collegiality and community among themselves. It was something that they could do and that they could share as part of the storytelling. That was a part of it. So you can see here, we had a presentation here in the library with some of our high school students, and then they actually participated in some simple quilting just to get a sense of that. So thank you to Mr. Geis for coordinating that event. Then we had students at Evergreen who, as part of the Random Acts of Kindness celebrated on February 17th, really focused on creating some blankets for those that are homeless. And as part of what they learned during that activity, there was a focus on empathy, what that means for 4th and 5th graders to be empathetic, kindness, and community service. And they actually moved through the activity of conducting or performing some community service in creating these blankets, and they wrote letters to individuals who are struggling right now and unfortunately are homeless. Shifting gears, and again, just like we saw the students playing in the snow in, 12-degree weather last month, we have a group of individuals that support our special education students and serve as Viking buddies. So it's, again, this opportunity for our general ed students to work with our special education students and raise money, and they do it by swimming in very cold water. And you can see them there. It's called a polar plunge because it really is cold. And this was in February, just recently. And the teachers that participated along with our students helped raise over $5,000 that will support some of the Viking Buddies activities that occur, as well as our unified sports program, which have both really served our high school well. So thank you to Ms. Roche, Mrs. Bailabaki. She's actually in the pool there. She's there next to the young man in the orange t-shirt. Ms. Fadden, Mrs. Klug, Mrs. Moore, and Mrs. Knoll. Thank you for taking our students to Philadelphia and participating in this fun event. And they keep going back. They keep doing it year after year, so lots of fun. And then we had our high school PVTV crew on TV. That was pretty cool. They went to PHL 17 and actually were interviewed about learning how to be broadcasters and communicators. So I'll play the video clip of what occurred there. Oh, you know what? I had it queued up. I'm sorry. So you don't have to listen to the commercials.
My name is Dr. Zachary Fuller. and I'm the principal of Perkiomen Valley High School in Collegeville, Pennsylvania.
Hey, I'm Todd Moore. I'm the video production teacher at Perkiomen Valley High School.
Hi, I'm Liz Moyer-Miller. I'm from Perkiomen Valley High School, one of their business teachers.
And today, my students are out here at PHL 17 interviewing 4 employees. We packed our gear up, we hopped on a bus, and we arrived here at 9 a.m.
These students come out of our TV production class.
These video production students are 11th and 12th graders.
Anytime students can see what's really happening in a professional setting, it makes something that feels really abstract as a teenager, it makes it feel possible.
Some of them have had no camera experience until this year, and some of them have grown up around film.
We got straight to work. Our students got their gear out, got out their notes, and started conducting the interviews. It was great to see the students collaborate together, problem solve, troubleshoot.
Behind the scenes at a real live working television studio.
I think we start rolling.
They're learning all sorts of different tips and tricks,
Talk to me.
looking at all the moving parts.
Meeting people who do that work makes it feel possible and even probable that there are careers in this field and that there's a future in something that they're interested in.
Yeah, yeah.
There's life after high school, and there's life within their interests after high school. I really applaud Mrs. Miller and Mr. Moore, who are here with the students today, for bringing this experience to our students and making school feel relevant to them.
Very nice.
Hi, this is Todd Moore from Perkiomen Valley High School,
My name's Zach Fuller.
I'm Liz Moyer-Miller.
and you're watching Weekend Filler.
Wasn't that pretty cool? Yes, so really impressive, and I will keep the link here in the slides. This is actually a clip that if you go on to PHL 17's website, you can find that if you search Perkiomen Valley. So nicely done. Great job. All right, and last but not least, one more thing. So we've had 3 inclement weather days. We have used the 3 days that are built into the calendar. So the last student day, last month I reported was June 11th. This month I'm reporting it's actually June 12th. So we've used all 3 days. And the last student day will be June 12th. Teachers will go until the 15th if they need to invest in that day. Some of them have already done that. So they may also be finished by the 12th. Any additional inclement weather days where we need to cancel school, we can't get students to school safely, will be a flexible instructional day or a virtual instructional day. And if you have children at the elementary level, you may have been informed last week on Friday that they should take their Chromebooks home. They don't always do that, but just in case, because we had heard some rumblings about weather this weekend, students may start to bring them home more regularly. So there are some rumblings about tomorrow morning, so we have a call about maybe some weather tomorrow morning. I don't know that that will take us through the entire day. So stay tuned there. But moving forward, if we need to close school again, it will be a flexible instructional day, so we won't need to adjust the calendar. And this falls in line with our flexible instructional day plan that was submitted and approved by the state, submitted to and approved by the state, and then board approved as well. Okay? And with that, I end my report.
Dr. Russell, thank you so much. 2.04 is the solicitor's report. I introduced to the community Mrs. Young? Yes. Mrs. Young, and she will now serve out the rest of this month and going forward as our solicitor. So welcome to you to have a report.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the warm welcome. I'll be here. I'll be your new face at the solicitor table, and I have no additional report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Young. Okay, board and district committee reports, 2.05. We will have this evening our finance committee of the whole. Policy will meet next week at 6 p.m. We have a negotiations meeting on the 3rd, that's tomorrow at 5 o'clock. That's to discuss MCFS. Oh, what else do we have going on? Education of the whole will be March 12th this month. Safety and operations is March 19th. Wellness is also on the 12th. That's at 3:45 this month. It's in the afternoon. And then we have our external committee, meetings, I'm sorry. And so we have Central Regional Planning with Mrs. Lofton, Dr. Weston for the foundation. Your next meeting's on the 24th. MCIU board meets on the 25th. I want to extend congratulations to Mr. Liggett for being seated as the vice president of the MCIU board.
That's great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yes.
Legislature is myself, and then we have, of course, the JOC, which meets on the 16th. That's Mr. McKinney and Mr. Williams. Does anyone have anything to offer board and district committees? Go ahead, Dr. Weston.
Let me just update on some of the doings of the foundation. This weekend coming up is a pretty active weekend. The 7th of March, Saturday, is the annual dodgeball tournament. It's one of the foundation's biggest fundraisers, and it is a really good time for everybody. So I would urge you all to take advantage, look into it, and it's a good time will be had by all. Also this weekend, the 7th and 8th, the foundation sponsors an SAT boot camp to help students get ready for the March 14th SAT. The foundation website has information on registry for that. And then finally, the foundation is looking for some student representatives to be part of the foundation board and assist with their activities. If students are interested in learning and getting experience in the workings of a nonprofit, this is a wonderful opportunity. The applications process is discussed on the foundation's website. Final applications due on the 10th of March, and then there will be interviews proceeding from that. So if you know of a student that could be interested, give them a reminder because the deadline is coming up very soon.
Thank you, Dr. Weston. And then the only other thing I wanted to add was that we have a board walkthrough confirmed for Skippack Elementary for 9 a.m. on the 4th.
That is correct. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Is there any questions associated with committees, scheduling of committees, or the like? Okay, so I just will only say, as usual, should you not be able to attend any particular committee meeting, if you found a counterpart, unless it's a committee of the whole, of course, but a standing meeting where you're one of 4 people, if you found somebody to sub in for you, just send a quick email, give a heads up. That way we have enough participation and coverage, especially for committees that need to assess whether or not things should come to the full board. So safety and operations, wellness, that type of thing. Okay? And if there ever is a conflict, as long as it's communicated, of course, no questions. All righty. So moving right along, we are moving to the consent agenda, which we will continue to build. Does anyone have any questions about the consent agenda so far? Wonderful. Seeing none, Mr. McKinney, Education.
Thank you, Ms. White. 4.01, educational updates. Dr. Nicholson, are there any updates or additions?
Yes, there are, Mr. McKinney. I have a few updates for the board for this evening. If we can play. Okay, excellent. So 3 updates for this evening, first of which being middle school cheerleading. Wanted to update the board on where we stand with that after last month, if you recall, there was some comment from the citizens on middle school cheerleading. Also wanted to give the board a quick update on gifted services and the timeline for the discussions of those at Education Committee of the Whole. And finally, just talk about future enrollment and staffing updates. So the first update, middle school cheerleading, this is a bit of an appetizer for things to come. We do anticipate next month at Finance Committee of the Whole we'll have a more fully thought out proposal, a more vetted proposal on middle school cheerleading. However, again, if you recall last month, there was comment from the public as the club cheerleading that's been happening at the middle school level. So what would the proposal look like to move this to a full PIAA sport? The what and the when. So this would be a sport that would be open to all 7th and 8th grade students at both East and West. There would be 2 teams, one at East, one at West, for 2 different seasons, which I'll talk about. It would be fully aligned to PIAA standards. It would be governed by PIAA, and it would provide an experience baseline to build upon as students matriculate from 7th and 8th grade to 9th through 12th grade. What we found is community-based cheerleading, for the most part, ends around 7th grade when PIAA sports pick up. So there is a bit of a vacuum there between 6th grade and 9th grade. This would fill that vacuum with a full-fledged PIAA sport. Again, there'd be 2 seasons for this fall, which is sideline cheer, where East and West would be combined together. They would cheer for football games and be a presence during the fall. And then winter would be competitive cheer, which would be tryout based, and that would focus on competitions. It would focus on skill development and advancing students to get to the high school level while participating at basketball games. So the benefits and value, athletic development, as I mentioned, early skill development for those cheerleaders in 7th and 8th grade, building their potential, avoiding injury, getting the fundamentals of cheer before they hit the high school. Also keeping those students engaged, really allowing them to show their pride for Perkiomen Valley, to be engaged in the middle schools, and to have something to do in the fall and the winter. If we have students that are very involved in cheer, again, there's a void that's built in without having a full-fledged program. And then consistency. Really formatting the program under PIAA ensures that we have unified safety, unified expectations, equipment at the middle school level for all of our students. As far as Mr. McKinney?
I'll wait till you finish.
Okay, thank you. As far as cheer implementation expenses, there are some expenses that, as with any sport that would be involved, and again, we're working to continue to flesh this out, but they're about investment of about $90 per athlete for uniforms. There are some safety mats, but there's a proposal to potentially, as time goes by, replace the mats that are at the high school level, thus making competition mats or mats available for the middle school. And the competition mats can be shared amongst the high school and the 2 middle schools. And then finally, competition registration, music, editing, POMs, signs, transportation would all be ongoing costs that would be incurred by a program, as would any athletic program. And then finally, what would this look like? It would be, as I said before, there'd be a coach at both East and West, an assistant coach at both East and West. There is demonstrated interest. So as public comment mentioned last month, and we had started on this even before that public comment, there were 31 and 16 at East between fall and winter, and 26 and 26 participants at West between fall and winter of this year. And we would expect those coaches to work together to really ensure that there's consistency amongst both programs at East and West. So again, this is a bit of an appetizer for next month's Finance Committee of the Whole, where we expect to have a more fleshed out proposal for the board's consideration. Mr. McKinney?
Yes, so Dr. Nicholson, so the PIAA guidelines for this level of cheer, does that take into consideration stunting or tumbling or any of the more advanced things that they would get at the high school? Where is the threshold for what they can do and can't do?
That's a great question that we can put a little bit more definition to for next month. I don't know the answer to exactly what that line would be, but we would really at this level be focusing on the basics of cheer. I don't know if PIAA has a kind of a limit or a line of demarcation of what kind of tricks and stunts our athletes would be able to do at this level. But I think as in any level of cheer, it's really based on the skill level of the athletes and ensuring safety first as we build on their abilities.
Also, I'm assuming that the high school cheer coaches have a certain level of certification that they have to meet in order for PWI. Would that be the same with middle school?
Yes, all of our coaches would go through the same amount of training, the same safe sport training, those types of things to be credentialed as coaches.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nixon.
Sure. Any other questions on the cheer program? Okay, we'll have a little bit more to come on that next month. I wanted to also just give a brief update on the gifted services discussion that's been ongoing at the Education Committee of the Whole. As it's been ongoing for a couple months and will be ongoing for a few more months to come, just so everybody kind of has an overview and the public has an overview if you're not tuned into Education Committee of the Whole on a monthly basis. In January, Dr. Moulton spoke of the overview that was conducted by the MCIU and the report that was provided to Perkiomen Valley to peruse and to look through. In February, there was a very comprehensive overview of what some of the proposals would be at Perkiomen Valley High School. This coming month, in just a week and a half, March 12th, Dr. Moulton will be back and we'll be talking middle school and what that planning update will look like for the future at that level. In April, we'll be getting to the elementary level. And then finally, either in April or May, depending on how the timing plays out, she'll be providing an overall comprehensive overview of the work that's been done throughout the spring and throughout the winter pursuant to that review that was provided by MCIU. So again, just a one-stop shop for an overview for those of you that may have seen one or two of the Education Committee of the Whole, especially the public, just a timeline for what to expect moving forward with that review. And then finally, future enrollment and staffing updates. I wanted to make sure that we just went through this. And while the enrollment updates are posted in the board agenda for this evening, I'm not going to go deeply into enrollment or staffing for this month. And part of that is because I believe all of us know and the public knows at this point that the due date for the early retirement incentive plan is March 15th. That is an irrevocable notice of retirement, and it's triggered by 15 eligible individuals electing to retire at the end of this school year by that date. That being in play, there's a lot of questions that will be answered as of March 15th when we have a better idea of just how many of our professional staff have elected to retire at the end of this year. The 15th is the due date. On March 17th, we've convened a meeting of all the lead principals to look at the staffing implications of that early retirement plan. We'll convene to really look at who's retiring, what those positions are, what positions need to be filled, what positions could potentially be attrition, and what that enrollment and what that staffing will more so look like going into the 26-27 school year. For this committee and for the board, for the public, you can look forward to April 7th, which will be a very active education update where we'll be really looking at what that looks like, what those numbers can lead to, and what some of our staffing implications and maybe schedule implications will be at all levels by April. And then April 16th, a little bit more in-depth discussion as well. So again, no enrollment, formal enrollment, no formal staffing updates for this month, but there will be a lot coming up in the next month and a half or so. And that is the end of my report, unless there are questions. Ms. Lofton.
Are we having our April meeting on a Tuesday for spring break?
We're closed on Monday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for noting that. Okay.
Are there any other questions for Dr. Nicholson? Thank you, sir. Moving on to 4.02, motion to approve kinder start for a 26-27 school year.
Are there any questions? Okay, that was at the recommendation of the Education Committee of the Whole. So we can move that to consent, correct?
4.03, motion to approve the purchase of an AP U.S. History resource. It is American Pageant and Fast Track. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Not hearing any, we shall move that on to consent. And 4.04 is the enrollment report, which is attached. That is my section, Ms. White.
Thank you, Mr. McKinney. Mr. Liggett, Section 5, Business.
Thank you. Mr. Weaver, we're ready for you to dazzle us.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I only have a couple of updates here. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry, Dr. Russell. I didn't get anything
You're
for
really
Christmas
paying
either. I
attention.
don't want to redo it. So. No.
Points for paying attention like that. You caught that really quick.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's much bigger than what I put in. Okay, so we'll get started and we'll move forward. We have a quick budgetary update to share a couple of adjustments, and then we have a quick update on our E-rate slide presentation as well through Mr. Ganesh and Karthik. I've got it, so it's fine. So moving forward in the actual budget presentation, we have an adjustment for recognizing the governor's budget proposal. Both Mrs. Hurd and myself attended separate budgetary meetings and confirmed independently and then together that PASBO, our professional organization, is recommending that we do share the increases in our budget for the ESB, the Ready to Learn grant, and special education, because those increments are relatively small. The conventional thinking is that just like last year when the ESB and special education subsidies were relatively small, we included those figures in our budget, although the state didn't finish their budget until November, and those numbers ended up being correct. So PASBO has the similar process as well. So we are reflecting when you combine those three elements, we're adding about $198,000 to the overall budget presentation for tonight.
My
Thank you.
apologies, Mr. Weaver.
It's all good. I know.
Sorry about that.
I know.
I took some of your time.
That's okay. I will, the appointment is July 1st, right? Okay, so there's the slide that summarizes everything,
Wasn't that bad.
$198,000. All right, so overall revenues were increased by $198,000, and moving into the expenditures, we have one adjustment, and that adjustment is for showing the increases associated with the North Montgo Technical Career Center. They did share with us, Jerry Reinking, who's the business administrator there, our fee to attend there is going up slightly by $132,000. So all in all, when you combine those elements, there's a slide that we have for quick checks. That's the red mark there that shows this is for this presentation, the adjustment there. We are looking at overall a 6.14% increase, and remember, we took the resolution at 3.5%, so that brings us down to our increase revenues, decrease expenditures, or utilize additional fund balances of $2.3 million. As was just pointed out by Dr. Nicholson in his presentation, we continue to await for the results of the early retirement incentive plan. And as Dr. Nicholson and Dr. Russell and staff and crew do a wonderful job of getting our curricular needs for 26-27 and how that might impact our staff. Any questions on that in particular? Mrs. Lofton.
Just a quick question, is there any update on Bucksmont?
So Bucksmont, the second look did come in, and it was really close to where we were. 14.85% was the increase, and we had just gone right to that point in time, so there's no adjustment. We still have a third look. I appreciate that, and I do know that we were successful in getting that OC4 program from a Bucksmont perspective. So we do anticipate a third look later on in May, Mr. Moran? End of March. Okay, so we'll know that heading into April. Thank you, Mrs. Lofton. Okay, no other questions on that. Just as a reminder, we're really starting to look at those areas that we just talked about, the early retirement incentive plan, staffing needs, and pretty soon we'll get ready with some formalities of preliminary budget approval in May and final budget approval in June. As far as the E-rate program is concerned, Mr. Ganesh, we have a placeholder in there for today's board agenda. He has to submit the E-rate requests, And what we've shown you on the right-hand side there is just a simple graph of what we've applied for and received over the past several years participating in this program. And we do anticipate some significant savings. Remember, we show them as reduced expenditures in our budget, so there's no additional revenue stream. We just work on the reduced expenditures. Any questions on that? There'll be more presented next week. Okay, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. All right, so item 5.02 will be possibly next week. That's our placeholder for the E-rate. Items 5.03, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 were all approved by the are recommended by the Safety and Operations Committee. So if there are no questions, I'd ask for those to be submitted for the consent agenda. 5.09 is an approval of a resolution between us and Perkiomen Township for our school police to be able to enforce fire lanes. If there are no questions, we'll move that to consent. Am I correct that 5.10 is still a placeholder? Okay. 5.11 is the acknowledgement of the.
Hold on one second
ahead.
there, Mr. Liggett. So I know that it does say placeholder, but then in the language, there's a not to exceed. Did you want to hold it until next week, or?
Yes, let's please hold that till next week.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll
Thank you.
keep it as a placeholder.
Keep it as a placeholder. Okay.
No problem. Moving along, 5.11, acknowledgement of the solicitor firm transition. 5.12 is the approval of the school meeting dates for next year. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review that. 5.13 is the approval of the 2026-2027 holidays for 12-month employees.
That one we're actually going to keep off consent, 5.13.
Okay. Anything else?
Just to give it another week of discussion.
Okay. Would you like to do the same with 5.14, considering it's also holidays?
No, that one can go ahead.
Okay.
This was specific around the 12-month administrative and support holidays. And then,
no problem then.
just for the board, if there were a lot of eyes on the 5.12, which is the board meeting dates, but if you could just throw your eyes on it as well as you go down, make sure that you lock in all of those times on your calendars, but also make sure that there are no major conflicts. I think we caught everything. I will note that there are 2 Tuesday meetings next year rather, because of how holidays fall. And that is the practice, that we always move to a Tuesday should Monday be a holiday or a closed day for school.
All right, thank you. So 5.14 will be on consent. 5.15 is already on the consent agenda, and we have a placeholder for the grants and donations for next week. That ends my section.
Thank you, Mr. Liggett. So, Ms. Reefer, just 5.13 is off consent. Everything else, I think, moved forward to consent. That's accurate, right, Mr. Liggett?
Yes, it's not
Except
a placeholder.
for the placeholder.
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, good stuff. Section 6, payment of bills, Mr. McGuire.
Section 6.01, ratification of bills and payroll and authorization of payments. It's a motion to ratify the payment of bills for period ending February 28th, 2026, and authorization of those payments in March.
So we're actually going to take care of that next week.
Okay.
So 6.01 and 6.02.
Both are going to move to consent. And that ends my section.
Thank you, Mr. McGuire. Professional personnel, Dr. Weston.
Thank you, Ms. White. Item 7.01 is a placeholder for next week, the acceptance of resignations and retirements. 7.02 and 03, approval of leaves of absence and approval of mentors. Both are on consent. Item 7.04 is a placeholder for next week, approval of professional appointments. Item 7.05 is on consent, the approval of long-term substitute and extended daily substitute appointments. 7.06 is also on consent, the approval of spring 2025-26 coaches. And finally, 7.07 is a placeholder for next week, the approval of co-curricular appointments, and that ends section 7.
Thank you, Dr. Weston. Mrs. Lofton, support personnel, section 8.
Thank you, Mrs. White. Section 8.01, acceptance of resignations and retirement is on consent. Unless there are any questions, section 8.02, 3, 4, and 5, they're all on consent. We have approvals of leaves of absence, approval of support appointments, approval of community education appointments, and approval of student technology helpers. Are there any questions on any of these sections? Okay, seeing none, that ends my section.
Thank you, Mrs. Lofton. Ms. Westfall, section 9, governance.
Thank you, Ms. White. Section 9.01 is the first reading on policies. Any questions or concerns? Do you want me to read each one of them out loud? No? Okay, so they'll go to policy for review. And section 9.02, approval to hold a second reading and adopt the policies. Request approval to hold a second reading and adopt the following policies.
Are there any comments, questions, issue? Okay,
And that ends my section. Thank you.
so we're going to move to 9.02 to consent then.
9.02 is moving to consent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Westfall. Oh my gosh, what time is it? Oh my goodness gracious, it's not even 8 o'clock. What's going on right now? All right, section 10, closing items. The board affords the community an opportunity to comment for a second time on any topic. I open the floor. Seeing none, I open the table. 10.02, comments from board members. Does anyone have anything to offer? Mr. McGuire.
Just a quick one. Did we recognize Mr. Subers?
We didn't, but we will see him next week.
He'll come next week.
Okay.
And then we can recognize
we can
him.
say goodbye in person.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
Who's
Mr. McKinney.
Subers?
Please have a cookie for Mr. Subers.
Thank you very much. Anyone have anything else? All right, very good. 10.03, notice of video disclaimer. 10.04 is adjournment. I will let you know that we had an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss personnel, and with that,